folks, Scott here with my special red My Monthly Hero box. This is the November 2018. This is that really interesting Advent calendar kit. Let's see what we get in our pack this month. Some nice Christmas green ribbon, of course, wrapping everything up. And here are our major goodies. So this is basically our kit this month. This is for making little advent calendars. On a card, we get a large rubber stamp, a background cling stamp. So this and the ornament flap fancy die work together to turn all of these ornaments into little flaps that will pop up. This is a nice rubber stamp. It has these 3 knockout pieces, so you can actually use 3 of these stamps individually. So we do have 3 little ornament stamps included in this. A really nice rubber stamp. These are very detailed. Doesn't look like it leaves much room for coloring or anything. Quite intricate, very interesting. This is the first rubber cling stamp I believe I've gotten from Hero Arts, my monthly hero kit. This is our die this month. A great big ornament flap fancy die. So it cuts the ornaments and scores a flap at the top so that they'll pop open and reveal behind all of these great little icons and images. We have a reindeer, wine, gingerbread, mittens, ornaments, a dove, a rocking horse, a snowman, Coco, an angel, a few sentiments here. We've got cutie pie, bring cheer, ho, 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 be merry, warm hugs, make a wish, love you, Xmas, cold, warm, hot, cool. A few snowflakes in amongst these. Ooh, a kiss with a little bitty mistletoe there. Very cute, very interesting. I never would have thought it possible that you could get 25 flaps on the front of an A2 card. Very little ornaments. And we do get some extras. We've got some embossing powders with this kit. We've got a green gold and a plain gold embossing powder. I swear, I think I have more gold embossing powder in my stash than any other color. I've often considered dumping all my golds together to make a unique Scott gold. That's our kit this month. Let's see, it might be hard for us to work 10 cards out of this fairly straightforward and what seems to be a one-use or a single-purpose card kit, but this looks like lots of fun. Now, at first glance, I thought it might be a little bit of a challenge to come up with 10 different cards for this card kit. I only have 2 or 3 Christmas-oriented stamp sets in my kit. There's not a lot of Christmas sentiments in this stamp set, but I did manage to come up with 10 different cards. The backs may seem fairly plain, but they're pretty colorful. Now, since we did get 2 embossing powders with this kit, I decided that I should dive right in and start using this background cling stamp and embossing it on different cardstocks. So I kind of went to town and created a whole bunch of different backgrounds. The top row from left to right is the Love from Lizzie Silver Dollar embossing powder on some blue cardstock. Then we have the Love from Lizzie Emerald City embossing powder on red cardstock. Then we have that Hero Arts green gold embossing powder on craft cardstock. Now that is a little dark. The green gold embossing powder I found got really pretty dark on colored cardstock. The last one on that top row is the Wow Cloud 9 embossing powder on black cardstock. Now that looked really great, but that embossing powder sheds glitter like no one's business. I actually tried to set that glitter by taking some fixative to the top of it. Unfortunately, my fixative was a matte fixative and it kind of destroyed that whole background. So, well, Live and learn. On the bottom row, left to right, we have regular Ranger white embossing powder on blue cardstock, and it's very Hanukkah-like. Then we have that Hero Arts Gold on a dark green, looks really nice. Then we went back to that Hero Arts Green Gold on white. That green gold plays really well on white. I like the color of that on white. Then I tried the Hero Arts Green Gold on red, and again, it got really, really dark on a colored cardstock. Finally, I did take my Onyx Black ink and stamped it on some Bristol Smooth cardstock for that center image here. Before I knew what was happening, I had 9 backgrounds ready to play with for this kit. So let's dive in and see what we came up with this month. For my first card, this is on a white card base, but it is a red, green, and white advent calendar card. Since this is what this card kit was created for, I figured we should start with the advent calendar card. Now, once I had embossed this is that great Emerald City green embossing powder from Love from Lizzie. On the red, it looks really good. We've got green, red, and white. But once I had embossed that embossing powder, I couldn't get a very good image from the stamps on top of it. I thought it was a little messy, so I reached for one of my alpha dies. This is an old marker micro alpha die, and I die cut all of the numbers out of white cardstock and glued those to the top of all of the ornaments. I, of course, die cut this with our fancy die. All of the windows will flip up. And on the white card base, I did stamp icons and images from the clear stamp set. I did them all in different colors. Some of them I used my knockoff watercolor markers to color the stamps so we could get some actual colors going on with these, like this little candlestick stamp. I had a hard time finding 24 images that would actually fit inside of all of these windows. There's that nice snowman. I do have, there we go, I do have a cutie pie in there, one of the usable stamps. There's a portion of that rocking horse. All of these, of course, are filled with images. There's a little golden angel on the 24th. There's our little cookie. There's a heart, a snowflake right there. There's a bell done with the markers again. So you got the silver bell and the red bow, a purple gift, a red stocking. No matter how you assemble your advent calendar card, this is a pretty big time commitment. Stamping the background stamp and die cutting it doesn't take very much time, but stamping all the numbers on the top and then stamping all of the images on the inside is quite a time commitment. So I certainly wouldn't look to make one of these cards in great quantities. Only special people will get a fabulous advent calendar card, which you have to get out and in the mail before December 1st. So even without using the die and making it an advent calendar, that cling stamp is really a beautiful background stamp for holiday cards. On a blue card base, we have this great special holiday delivery Christmas card. Now this is embossed with the Love from Lizzie silver dollar embossing powder on top of a blue card base. I then reach for I have this Honeybee Sending You Sentiments stamp set. I also have the dies. So I assembled this greeting on the front with the special delivery die cuts, which cuts the letters, and it also cuts a shadow behind that. And holiday, use the holiday stamp here. The Honeybee Sending You Sentiments stamp set. This is a really nice stamp set. Lots and lots and lots of sentiment possibilities with this. A beautiful silver and blue card, special holiday delivery. I die cut the special delivery out of silver cardstock, mounted that on the blue shadow, and added a few layers of white behind that as well, just to give it some thickness, a little bit of highlight around it. Special holiday delivery On the inside, I added this Merry Christmas greeting. This is a Merry Christmas die that we got in our November 2017 Love from Lizzie kits. A really nice die, a really nice Merry Christmas sentiment on the inside of this card that's cut from the same silver cardstock as our sentiment on the front. Special holiday delivery. Look at the shine on that card. I really like this. It's not quite so Hanukkah-ish as the white and blue, but the silver and blue feel very holiday to me. Okay, I like that a lot. Let's do it again. Let's try something else on a white card base. We've got a gold and green holiday card with joy on the front. Now this is the gold embossing powder that came in the kit. Beautiful gold embossing powder. Now I had this Lawn Fawn Scripty Joy die in my stash. I've had this one for a while. Lawn Fawn, very nice, very useful. I went ahead and die cut that from some gold mirror cardstock, and I was going to put it on a square or a circle when I realized I should put it on an ornament. So I did turn to my silhouette to create this ornament. Just sized this and cut this out of my silhouette, cut the topper with that same gold mirror cardstock. This is 2 layers of that green cardstock together just for a little stiffness. I did run the edges of that around on my Delicata gold ink pad just to give it a little bit of a gold lining. I attached that to the front of the card with some foam tape. I cut a couple extra joy dies out of white for a little added heft to that joy sentiment, glued that down to the front. A very pretty gold and dark green Christmas card featuring joy on the cover, and I stamped Merry Christmas on the inside. Now this is a very small stamp that I got in the December of 16 My Paper Pumpkin kit. Though small, this is a very nice Merry Christmas font. Very nice for the inside of a card. There's our dark green and gold joy holiday card. Again, great shine to these cards. Now you don't have to use the entire background stamp on a card. So for my 4th card on my plain craft cardstock, we've got a partial background here. Now I took that craft cardstock that I had embossed with the green gold embossing powder that actually works pretty decently on this craft cardstock, but it goes very dark. That's a very dark green with little spots of gold throughout it. And I just fussy cut the edge of that die, trimmed down the left side of the edge, mounted it to a card front with some foam tape, and there's a really nice partial background on this lovely craft cardstock. I used my Spectrum Noir sparkle pen to add sparkle to the card base on the right side here. So there's lots of shine there. This Merry Christmas sentiment is a clip art from my stash. I used it, I think, on a card or 2 last Christmas. I did add a little bit of the sparkle pen over the words on this Merry Christmas sentiment. I cut that out with my silhouette along with a few more layers, so it's a little chunky. Attached that to the card front with some foam tape. A really nice, very pretty. I love the green and the brown together on this card. Merry Christmas. This almost feels a little bit retro with that lovely sentiment there. Nothing on the inside of the card. You don't have to use the entire background as your background. Now, you can also think of this stamp set and fancy die as just 24 small ornaments. You could stamp and die cut 24 different small ornaments. So for our 4th card here, this is on a glitter card base. This is an old David Tutera card base I had in my stash. On a glitter card base, we get a lovely Merry Christmas card with hanging ornaments. I really like this a lot. I took a sheet of cardstock that I had sprayed with the Hero Arts Seafoam Glimmer Mist that we got, I think, in our June kit this year. I'd sprayed a couple extra pieces of cardstock with that Glimmer Mist and had never gotten around to using them, so I thought I'd use them with this card. I stamped the background cling stamp on one piece of that Seafoam Glimmer cardstock. Used the Love from Lizzie silver dollar on that. It looks really nice with that seafoam green. And I die cut the whole background and then selected these 7 ornaments to be featured on this card. I attached a piece of silver thread. This is just DMC metallic thread, the silver thread. I attached a piece of silver thread to the back of each of those ornaments. Then I cut a frame out of another piece of that sea foam glimmer mist, just using a couple of my stitched rectangle dies from Lawn Fawn. I've got to get those in there. The frame is from those stitched rectangle dies. I attached the silver thread to the back of the frame and then put foam tape on the frame to mount it to the card front. Of course, all the ornaments have a little piece of foam tape behind them. Attach them down to the card, trying to keep those strings as straight as possible. I did tie a bunch of bows with that silver thread and attach them to the top of all the ornaments with just a spot of my multimedia matte glue. That finished everything off very nicely. I really like that the strings are kind of floating above the glitter surface of the card. Again, I used that Love from Lizzie die to cut a Merry Christmas out of a scrap of that sea foam green cardstock. A really pretty card. I really like the silver and the sea foam green. I think it works really nice together with that glitter thread and that silver embossing and that glimmer sea foam and the glitter card base. We've got a really bright and shiny, quite a beautiful, soft Merry Christmas card. Now, I shared this card front on social media, on Instagram, and also on Facebook. This is our next card, the great, fun, colorful, just stamped and colored card with a Merry Christmas right in the center. I couldn't bear to do anything else with this once I had colored up this whole stamp. This, of course, was stamped in Versa Fine Onyx Black ink on Bristol Smooth cardstock. I did color these all with my Zig Clean Color markers. Now there's a coloring challenge for you. 24 different ornaments in different colors. I did go in with my Sakura Stardust glitter pen and colored all of the ornament tops with that glitter pen. So there is a little bit of glitter going on the front of this card. This Merry Christmas sentiment is from the Squad Goals stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. I think this was in our December 17 Simon Says Stamp kit. I simply used the Merry Christmas from the bottom, cut that from the back. Small but useful Christmas sentiments. A simple Merry Christmas on a plain white banner, just foam taped to the front of this card. I think that says it all right there. I love the coloring on this, although it did take a little bit of time. Okay, so we've got a lot of little icon image stamps, a lot of little icon image stamps with our 4x6-inch stamp set. So what do? I've got to reach for my little homemade wreath builder and do another wreath on a white card base. This came out really nice. I'm very pleased with this. I used the holly stamp and the candy cane stamp from the stamp set and stamped those using my knockoff watercolor markers again. Very Christmassy. I really like that wreath. It came out very nicely. I stamped the Be Merry in the center from the stamp set and embossed that with a little clear embossing powder. This ribbon, Happy Holidays, is some from my stash. I made a Christmas card a number of years ago that featured this ribbon, so of course I have some left. I thought that was a perfect sentiment, and it actually went quite well with that green ribbon that was tied around our kit this month. I tied a double bow with the green ribbon from the kit. I die cut this white cardstock with one of my Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies, mounted that on a red and a green mat, and then to a white card base. Be Merry, Happy Holidays. I did embellish this with some gold gems that were in my stash. I thought that was a good idea. It helped pull in this little gold sentiment down here into the rest of the wreath. Another wreath from Scott. I hope you don't hate my wreaths yet. A nice Happy Holidays card. A piece of ribbon like this certainly helps to camouflage the fact that I don't have a lot of Christmas stamp sets. Be merry. Now, this next card, I have to admit, was inspired by one of the sentiments from this Squad Goals. Christmas Squad is what this stamp set is called. This sentiment down here says, all I want for Christmas is cookies and you, basically everything sweet. That inspired this next card from me. And who can resist all those gingerbread men standing in a line? I really like this. Those little images are great for creating patterns and stripes and diagonals and chevrons, whatever, on a card front. All I want for Christmas is cookies and you. Basically everything sweet. So we've got the cookie stamp from the stamp set. That's actually stamped in a couple of colors of brown, though they are very close in color. A row of cookies, top and bottom. We've got a row of those little peppermint candies, top and bottom, done up in red. And then a row of those sweet little gingerbread men, top and bottom. A great pattern on this card. I did reach for, this is one of my favorite stamps I got from my year with Simon Says Stamp. This is from the Crafty Friend stamp set. This great striped border stamp from this stamp set is extremely useful in all kinds of colors. I use that stamp to stamp the red and white stripes on the top and bottom of this card front, trimmed this down to size, mounted it to the front of a craft card base, and I dug out a couple of Christmas tree gems from my stash. I believe those are from Oriental Trading Company, actually. There will be links to all these extra products on my blog at CardCutups.com. All I want for Christmas is cookies and you, basically everything sweet. We've got cookies and gingerbread men and candy canes. A great way to use those small image stamps. I had one more idea for how to use those image stamps to create something else. On a white card base, we get Bring Cheer Christmas Tree. I really like this. I thought this came out really very nice. In fact, I used every image stamp in this stamp set on this tree except for the 3 snowflakes and the Kiss mistletoe. I did use all 3 of those ornaments on this joy card. I stamped those in Versamark ink on top of that ornament just for a little tone-on-tone pattern on this cut-out ornament. You can see it pretty well there. So I decided I didn't need to use those on the tree. These are all the images except for the snowflakes. And of course that little bring cheer sentiment provides our little trunk for the tree. I used my Distress Oxide inks, just the first release. I used all 12 of those to stamp these images. We have 25 different images here, 26 counting the sentiment at the bottom. And I really like that color palette. It's very different from the Zig Cling color, but it's really soft and very festive still. 25 of those stamps on that little tree. I did use some little pearl embellishments from my stash to fill in the blank spaces on the tree. That added some nice shine and a little dimension to this tree. I trimmed this card panel down and matted it on a thin black mat mounted to a white cardstock. I didn't want that Kiss mistletoe to feel unwanted, so I did stamp that on the inside, again with a Merry Christmas from that Squad Christmas stamp set from Simon Says Stamp. Those are both stamped in the Distress Oxide inks. Lovely Merry Christmas card. A great Christmas tree. I was very pleased with how this came out and what a large image it gave us on the front of our card. Now, I had one more idea to use with this ornament stamp and die that I wanted to try. It took me a few times to get it correct, but I had recently bought some of this rainbow Deco foil, and that was sitting in my stash. That made me think of those mercury glass ornaments that were so colorful and so pretty. My grandmother used to have a number of those ornaments on her Christmas tree, and I marveled at how shiny and colorful they were. So I wanted to do a little foiling and see if I could foil these ornaments on the front of this card. So I, of course, reached for my Deco foil transfer gel, and I thought I could use the die as a bit of a stencil and stencil the transfer gel into the ornament openings. I tried that. I got scratches on my foil. Didn't work very well. I tried it again using a thicker coating of that gel, but of course it still leaves a little bit of a white outline, and I wasn't really pleased. I tell you, if you're using that transfer gel, you want it to be as smooth as possible so the foil goes down as smooth and perfectly as possible. I think the foil starts looking a little junky when it's all wrinkly and textured. I think it does work best smooth. So ultimately, I decided to reach for my peel and stick toner sheets. These have been in my stash for a while. This is the Deco foil toner sheets. I decided to give this a whirl. I cut out a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece of these toner sheets and used the rainbow foiling on top of that. That works much better, nice and smooth, and here's our card. I really, really like this. I swear, I think it looks just like those mercury glass ornaments from oh so long ago. Now, what was a big plus here is that those toner papers are peel and stick. So all of my little ornaments were sticky on the back already. So I did take that cling die and I stamped it on a piece of black cardstock using the Hero Arts white unicorn ink. And I stamped that and die cut it on a piece of black cardstock. And then I simply took all of my little ornaments, peeled the back off of them, and stuck them on top of the already die cut black cardstock. Nice. I love this so much. I couldn't bring myself to put numbers on these ornaments. Yes, this is an advent calendar card. These do lift up, but we don't get images under the windows. We get activities. Make paper snowflakes. After making that first advent calendar card and realizing that when you lift up a window, all you're getting is a little picture of something, I didn't think that was particularly effective in building up one's anticipation of Christmas. So instead, I thought I would do this one with activities behind all the windows. This one says, eat dinner by candlelight. All sorts of ones. Of course, these are not numbered, so you can lift them up and take part in the activities in any order you choose. This first one up here, of course, is decorate the Christmas tree. There's a few in here that are crafty. Bake cookies. There are a few of these that are charitably oriented, buy a gift for Toys for Tots, and there's some of these that are just plain fun. Watch a holiday movie. I really like this card. I did use my Silhouette software, and I scanned into the computer a simple die cut of our die and created all of these sentiments. We've got decorate the Christmas tree, make paper snow, write Santa, take a bubble bath, buy gifts for Toys for Tots, donate to a food drive, eat dinner by candlelight, make hot cocoa, make ornaments for the tree, have a family dance party, spread cheer, there's one of my favorite ones, bake cookies, make gifts for teachers, watch a holiday movie, recycle old toys, read a Christmas book, make a holiday lunch, sing carols, make Christmas cards, have breakfast for dinner, smile a lot, go out to look at Christmas lights after dark, and tell everyone in your family why you think they're cool. This I put together using my Silhouette software. It fits this die very nicely. I tell you, having a print like this that you can cut out and put on a card base and then put your advent calendar windows over the top of it sure makes much shorter work out of creating these advent calendar cards. In fact, If any of you would like, I will certainly share this silhouette file with you. Just go to my website at CardCutups.com. Go to the contact page, send me an email asking for the Hero Arts Advent activities, and I'll send you this file. I think this is really a beautiful, kind of stunning card. I hope it reads on camera as well as it does in person. Of course, that Merry Christmas stamp from my paper pumpkin finishes off the card on the inside. So that's my 10 different cards using the Hero Arts November 2018 kit. I'm very pleased with how these came out. I think we've got a nice variety and only a couple of advent calendars here. I really like using these small ornaments on their own. I really like using these small stamps to create patterns and images. I really like that background stamp is just beautiful, whether you emboss it, whether you just stamp it and color it. I think that die and stamp will get a lot of use over the years. I'm sorry this video took me a little bit of time to get posted. I took a little bit of extra time off for the Thanksgiving holiday to spend with families and friends. Getting this to you just as quick as I can. My best wishes to you and yours for a lovely, happy, safe holiday. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me here. I hope you enjoyed my ideas. I hope I was able to provide you with a little inspiration and a couple of unique ideas on how to use this set. Please like me, list me, pin me, post me, share me with all of your friends. Don't run with scissors. And by all means, happy crafting. If you'd like more detailed information, better pictures, and product links, please visit my blog at CardCutups.com.